Hi, today we're going to be talking about a credit report, a credit score, some tips for improving your credit. So if you want to stick around and really learn something, stick with me. My name's Manda. I'm a mortgage advisor and a financial coach, which is where we come up with mortgage coach. And I've helped hundreds of people improve their credit in order to get a mortgage. So let's get started. The first thing I wanted to explain is what is a credit report. It is a detailed record of your credit commitments. That is across different agencies. So depending on who you get the credit report from, depends on what information could be on that credit report. For that reason, I always recommend Check My File because that's a multi-agency report. Now, it's always best for people when you've got a loan with that company for them to register the loan with a credit agency, but they don't always register it with all the credit agencies. And for this reason, the multi-agency one is the best because it covers all of the agencies. Another thing you should understand is when you are actually getting a mortgage, it could be with any lender, depending on criteria, the best deal, etc. But what you may not know is they all use different credit reports. So it's really useful to know what is on each credit report and what the lender is going to see. And from that, you can obviously really navigate which is the best lender for you. The next thing is credit score. Now, credit report originally came from the credit file, and that was for lenders to have a look at to see if you were eligible or the best fit for a loan, mortgage, etc. But then the consumer, you guys, wanted to actually see these reports, but when you received the report, you couldn't make head nor tail of it. So they decided on a credit score, which is like a traffic light system. So if you've got a low score, it's normally red. If you've got a medium score, it's amber. And if it's a really good score, then it's green. Depending on the report, you could have light green or dark green. You get the idea. So that is what a score is. Yes, the number is great, but what you probably don't know is that lenders have their own scoring system. So they don't ask you what your credit score is. What they'll do is they'll look at the credit file, which is why that's probably a little bit more important. And from that, they will do their own internal scoring. And from there, they'll decide whether they think that you should have a mortgage or not. Now, some quick tips. These are tips on how to improve your credit. Now, firstly, tip number one is set up automated payments. The reason why this is important is because it looks very bad when you miss payments or you have late payments or you don't make minimum payment. By setting up a direct debit, if you're on holiday, if things come up, then you don't need to worry because they're automatically coming through. What I would recommend is find out the day you get paid and then set these up the very next day. And then that way, if you get paid a day late for any reason, then you've got a buffer. But also, it's so close to payday that you don't accidentally spend it on something else and you're not able to pay your bill. So that's one. The other, we talked about in a previous video, credit utilization and how you need to have only 30% of the limit as your balance. So the example would be £1,000 is the limit and £300 is the balance. Now, if, for example, your balance is actually £500 and you can't afford that 200 to reduce it, what you could actually do is you could increase your credit utilization by 1,500 and then you're still having the balance of 500 still gives you the credit utilization of 30%. So that's a good way of doing it. The other good thing is to register to vote. I have mentioned this before, but it's probably the quickest and most efficient way to get up to an extra 50 points on your credit score. And obviously the fact that it's scoring high within the credit agencies means the likelihood is also going to score high with the lender. So that's something else. Avoid paying cash on your credit card. So what I mean by that is when you have your credit card, you can actually withdraw cash on it, but don't do that because the rate is so much higher. And when you're making payments on your mortgage, on your actual credit card, what it will do is it will split the balance. So it will have the cash advance balance and it will also have your normal goods and services balance. And every time you pay money, even though you're probably charged a higher interest rate for the cash withdrawal money, that money will get allocated to the goods and services. So say you buy a sofa for £500 and then you get cash out of £40, but the interest rate for the cash is 10 times the much as the sofa. It doesn't matter if you keep on trying to pay off that cash until you've paid off the sofa balance completely, then it will start allocating the rest of the money to the one that's on the higher interest. So that's a bit of a concern. It says consider consolidating your loan. If you've got loads of different multiple debts all over the place, it doesn't look good. The best thing is just to have one consolidated loan, and then that way it does look better just to have one loan rather than loads of little bitty ones. In fact, sometimes it really is worth, when you're remortgaging, to bring all of that debt in. So what I mean by that is you've got your mortgage balance and then you've got all this outstanding debt. You could remortgage for the balance of both, and then just as far as the credit report is, you're completely up to date with your credit cards, with your loans, etc. And then you've just got a mortgage that you're paying. So sometimes it does work out. The one I would say is a bit of a sneaky one is financial associates. Now, if you're enjoying this video, please like it. If any of this is ringing bells or ringing true, please share it. And the last tip I'm going to be talking about today is checking your financial associates. Now, sometimes you'd be quite surprised who you're connected to and how long you've been connected to them for, because at the end of the day, you just automatically think when you move out, you've moved on and you're no longer connected. But be it someone that you were married with and you've got divorced, or someone that you were just living with for whatever reason, flatmates, uni mates, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, it really doesn't make a difference, because when you share a residence with someone for whatever reason, it will affect your credit because you are now connected to that person. So that is something else to be aware of. One bonus tip. So please subscribe if you want more free content like this. And I'll give you the bonus tip. So here we go. So with the bonus tip, the way that works is when you are actually paying off your credit card, what you can actually do is, if you don't have enough money to pay the credit card off because you've got to buy petrol, groceries or whatever, then use the money that you would have paid the credit card off with to buy groceries, food and petrol and whatever. And then what you do is you use the credit card to pay for that stuff, and then you use the money that you would have spent on that stuff to pay off the credit card. So let's back up here. Say that your minimum payment on your credit card needs to be £50, and you also need to spend £50 on petrol. There's only one £50, right? So what you can do is you can use your credit card to pay for the petrol, and then use that £50 that you would have paid for the petrol to pay on your credit card. And then that way you're constantly spending, paying on your credit card. Now, it's really, really important to have a clean credit. So I can give you all these tips, but they are general tips. What I'm offering is a credit review. It's called the Credit Clarity. And what I do there is I look at your report and I talk to you about your report. Then I talk to you about how the report is, how it's laid out, what it actually means, I'll give you tips tailored to you. So if this is something you're interested in, please check in the link and you can book a call. Again, please subscribe, share. There's a lot of people out there could really do with improving their credit. So please share. And I hope you found this helpful. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.